Welcome to video 2. I just, earlier, I had to drive my wife to a doctor's appointment, so I dropped her off and I put the new up pipe on off camera just to make it easy. It was only a couple bolts. I did one of my other videos, so it's, this isn't the video if you want to learn how to put an up pipe in. Since I got the up pipe in, the turbo's sitting right here. I still need to do a couple things before that's ready to be bolted together and everything. I figured I'd just talk a little bit about where I'm at while I get all my tools out. So today I'm going to try and get everything major in place because we're expecting a atmospheric river to hit Vancouver. So it's going to be very, very rainy, like downpour torrential rain all weekend. So if I can get as much of this done, then I won't get water in my engine. Oh yeah, I'll show you guys the up pipe. So it's going to be hard to see, but there's some wires in there. Anyway, that's better view. Nope, still can't see. Oh well, it is done. Yeah, I don't even know what brand this one was, but I got a PLM on there now. So yeah, today, turbo, hopefully intake manifold. I'll be making more AN lines. I still have to hard mount the fuel filter and spark plugs. I did the 2 on this side. I still need to do the 2 on the other side. I can also start with a whole bunch of the wiring cleanup because it's going to be all under the intake manifold. So I'm going to reroute some stuff and try and figure that all out. Kind of a all over video, but I got to get everything buttoned up. So you're here for the long haul. Yeah, I'm going to get the rest of my tools. So this mess of wires is all of the stock wiring. So these will connect to this. All of these are for the throttle body stuff. These are for the injectors, and then injectors on this side. This has to plug in all the way over there, but it's all stuff that's necessary. So it's all staying. So yeah, I got to get the turbo seated. Make sure everything's positioned the right way. Just get this right here. Make sure nothing gets in the intake or in the head. I need some pliers. So when you're installing a turbo on a Subaru, the first thing you need to do when you're placing it is make sure that the, let me just get this out of here. There we go. So, when you're placing the turbo down into its resting spot, there's the oil drain, which is on the bottom of the turbo. It is this hose on the bottom. When you're swapping your turbo, you should definitely replace this hose, and you want to make sure it is rated for oil. I think this is marine grade. I got at a store that's not too far from here because I needed something, and they had it in stock. So you kind of have to get it set onto that spot. And then kind of press it down. Now this is where these super long pliers come in handy. So I have to go down and put that hose clamp on the bottom, or else you'll have an oil leak down there and it will cause most of this, just oil buildup. Okay, hopefully this works. Yeah, that is very on there. Nice. The up pipe came with new hardware. New gaskets and new hardware, so. Trying to take my watch off with a bunch of hoses. Okay, the last one needs to go in the back here. So I think the next logical step would be the inlet, turbo inlet pipe. I still need to get a fitting for it. I'll probably do that in a little while. But yeah, it'll go right on here. Yeah, I think I'll actually need a new hose clamp as well, because this one is not big enough. I think I have some inside, so why don't I go grab that? Update. Spark plugs and coil packs are on both sides. Turbo installed. I still need to do the downpipe, but my gasket won't be here till tomorrow. I got the Perrin intake or turbo inlet in place, and I'm trying to figure out all the wiring right now. I need to add my other harness that'll go underneath all of this stuff for the coil packs. And I need to plug it in here, figure out one more wire for that, and then I'll just put the intake on, make sure everything's plumbed up, and then she'll be good to go. So I know what you're thinking. That's a rat nest. Yeah, it kind of is. So in order to hide all the wiring underneath, I kind of have to, you know, put the wiring somewhere. And without remaking my whole harness, which I would love to do, I just do not have the money, I decided to do it this way. So this is my auxiliary harness for coil packs. It's wired up. It has 4 wires directly to the ECU going to this connection, and those are the trigger wires for each one. These 2 red are the positive. That's going to the original positive that gave the coil pack spark, and the ground. So that's pretty much everything for that. I'm going to tuck it underneath all of this other stuff and route it to the sides and plug in the coil packs. So that would be 2 and 4. So I gotta get it through here. I think I might need to take that bracket off completely. The bracket's getting in the way of the fuel rail. So it's already a really tight fit, so it's gotta get modified. All right. So this is the bracket in question. And this whole chunk right here is getting in the way. So I'll just cut that flat. And just like, ta-da! Man, this turbo inlet is quite a bit bigger than the last one I had. Really hope I don't have to swap to that old one. But if I have to, I have to. It's also got some give to it, so maybe I'll be able to make it work. Yeah, I think that'll work. Might actually need shorter lines coming from the fuel rail to the pressure regulator. So I might have to redo some of my AN lines, which is fine. Just more shit I gotta do. Not bad. I'm gonna take this off and put it back on a few more times, but you guys don't need to see that. So I will come back to you guys when I'm ready to bolt it down. Yeah. Hell yeah. So I swapped back to my old turbo inlet. It's cut a little short, so I need to make sure I really tighten it, because that might have caused the destruction of my last turbo. But everything's looking pretty good. Still need to make a couple AN lines. I need to remake a couple. Just the way it is when you try and do things ahead of time. I should have waited for it to be fully in before I started making my lines, but oh well. The weather is turning. I feel it. It's cold, it's damp, it's gonna start raining, and I don't think it's gonna stop raining for a while. So I don't know if we'll get any more done this week, but I'll see what I can do. Well, good morning and welcome to a new day. As you can see, the intake manifold is on the car. I put it on last week, or I guess, no, it was this week, Monday, when it was not rainy. It is now been raining for like 4 days straight. As you can see, the car is very wet, but I have the morning and it should be dry until like 1-ish. So I'm going to do as much as I can and try and get this thing closer to running. So that includes tightening all of my AN fittings and pressure testing the fuel system. If the fuel system isn't leaking, then I can reassemble everything else on the engine. If it is leaking, I have to replace some fittings, and I'll have to wait to order good fittings online or go down to one of my local stores, but they upcharge like $30 a fitting. So we'll see. Hopefully everything's fine and it doesn't leak, but yeah, we'll see.
5 minutes later.
Well, there's a truck just idling down my back lane, so I hope you can hear me. I'm going to cycle the ignition and see if the fuel pressure, or if it holds fuel pressure. All right, I can smell fuel. That's not great. Looks like it's leaking from an O-ring on this side. I think for the most part, it's not leaking. The one I was really worried about was the hardline fittings, but I don't see those leaking at all. This Y might be leaking over here. And then I think that O-ring shot, which sucks because I don't think I have any. But I'll check my trunk of trinkets to see if I have any kicking around. All in all, it's not leaking as much as I thought it would, so I'm gonna hunt for an O-ring, and then I gotta do the wiring on the inside. I don't know if I'll be able to film that well, but I will try what I can. This right here is what's leaking. The O-ring going from this fitting to the rail. So I'll have to track one down. And then up here, I think it might be leaking this Y underneath this other coolant hose. But I won't know for sure until I take the coolant hose off. So that's more of a headache. But we'll check in after everything's done leaking and I'll wire in the ECU. So I wasn't quite sure what was leaking and what isn't leaking. So I figured I would just put some paper towel down and see what I can see. So there's only a very light smell of fuel, which I'm not overly concerned about. Okay, I'm gonna repressurize. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, right there. You'll be able to see the needle bounce up. So, pressurized. Now I just look around. Look with my nose. I don't think that's leaking, which is good. I don't see any drips or anything under the fuel pressure regulator. That's good. Nothing on that one. And nothing on the back one either. And these are not leaking. Yep, dry. So I think that's the only one, and it's like barely weeping. I don't know if this will come up on the video. It's really hard to see because of the sun, but whatever. There's just like a tiny bit, but it's 100% fuel. I can thoroughly smell it. So what I'll do is I'll take this fitting off and inspect the O-ring and lube it up and put it back on if the O-ring's fine. If not, I'll find an O-ring and then I'll put it on. But I'm actually surprised I only have the one leak, and it's not from any of the lines that I made. Most of the lines are Works. There's a couple of another like name brand company, and then some Amazon fittings, because I wanted to try and get this thing running by the weekend. If anything starts leaking, I know exactly which ones are the cheap ones, so I can replace them pretty easily. But yeah, everything's looking pretty good. Sweet. So I was a little worried because I wired this up like over a year ago and completely forgot if I labeled anything. Luckily, I have 2 bundles of wires. These are for the coil packs, and they're already labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. And then these ones are for the other sensor. So it's they're corresponding to the colors that are on the plug, which is the colors corresponding on this plug. So I just need to pull back the rubber right here, and I can tell which wires are what. I can also just probe them with my my electronic tester thingy. So I'm good. I just got to wire eight or nine of wires into the ECU, which is just under here. While I'm in here, I'm gonna see if I can clean it up. It's a little wet too, so I got to figure out why it's wet. But we're getting there. We're so close. I think I fixed the leak. At least it doesn't look like it's leaking anymore, so I'm assuming that's fixing the leak. So I put everything back on, intercoolers back on, put new lines to the boost controller. I think I have the hose routed properly. Still need to button that down. Fuel pressure regulator has a reference line. I took the block off plate off just to see how this turbo sounds with it just blowing off. Figured out the wiring for my sensor. Still need to wire it into the ECU, but I figured while I had some really nice bright sunny weather, I would get as much as I can buttoned up here. And yeah, it's looking like a complete engine again. I'm waiting for this line to come because these ones are all cracked and broken. So I have a new one coming. Should be here today. Once it gets here, I'm gonna hard mount the catch can over here, have it pointed around. Yeah, it'll be nice, I think. Yeah. Now I just got to do that pesky ECU wiring, and we'll be good to try and start it. So as you can see, I've already got one thing wired in, and then this is to make the car think it's a manual instead of an auto. But I need to get in here and repin a bunch of these with these ones. So what I decided on doing is I pulled the tape off the harness, and I'm attaching all of the sensors. I've already done all the sensor wiring. Attached it into the harness so that I didn't need to extend the wires at all. Just kind of spliced everything in. Making sure that the sensor wires themselves had butt connectors on them so they weren't still going anywhere else. And then these ones are like sensor 5 volt. I don't know where else that goes, if it's just for the one thing or not. So I decided to put a T on it. So the rest of the wire still has a 5 volt sensor output. Same with the ground. I still need to wire in these 4. I'm going to continue to do the same thing where I find them in the harness and then attach them. The only difference is 3 and 4 don't have a wire, so I'll just have to extend those with some of this old wiring that I have. So, getting there. Hopefully I'll have it started in the next, I don't know, hour or so. Hopefully. We'll see. All right, trying to start it one last time before I give up. And wait for my tuner. Okay. It's close.
Continuous
Nope. All right, so we are going to try and start this thing. We got the map loaded, everything's sorted. So let's see if this thing starts. Go for it. Hell yeah. All right. So I have the exhaust closed so I can actually hear, and so you can hear me. Had to come get some distilled water. Just gonna burp it before I go home, because why not? It's not raining here. And yeah, just running fine. Tune incoming. Future Chris here. I am editing the video and I realized I didn't have an outro. I would like to get this video out tomorrow, so I figured I'd film one at my computer. So we got the car running, obviously. The last clip I was burping the cooling system. It needs to be tuned still. It's got a base map for all of the, like the injectors, all the proper sensors. It's all set up properly. The reason it didn't start is because the ECU in the software, there's a box to click to turn it from coil on plug to wasted spark, and it was on wasted spark, which was the old setup. So he just clicked the box. We had to add a resistor on the ECU board itself for the fuel pump, but really it was like less than a half hour he was here just to kind of get it sorted out. We're tuning on the weekend. I think I'm going to film a video where we go into very, very basic what you need to do before you get a tune and how to tune a car. It's not going to be like a follow me, this is exactly what you do kind of thing. It's just kind of gives you guys an idea what has to be changed and all that, just to make your car run better. We'll set out that video. There'll be a bunch of, I think we'll hopefully film some flyby. Definitely a lot of audio. But yeah, we'll get that hopefully out next week. This one, I mean, hopefully you're watching it on Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, we got tuning video coming up for next week. And then after that, we're going to do a Pajero deep clean, because it is really gross in there. I've been holding off cleaning it until I have time to do a full video. So I'm going to pull the seats out, clean absolutely everything, kind of go through and make sure all the wires are good, and just a really deep clean. After that, we're probably going to do some more Forester stuff. I want to start going to the track and actually getting used to driving it on the track, because all I've ever done is street drive it, and I'd like to do quarter-mile times. I'd like to take it to some kind of autocross event, just drive it. It's now got a good turbo. It's it's wide body, got really wide tires. It's built to be a show car, but in doing that, it made it into a time attack car. So I should probably put it to use. Yeah, hopefully it's gonna be a good year. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and have a great night.